Welcome, everybody, to the newly christened OBT Show.
Oh, yeah, we decided on a name.
Decided on a name. We're no longer nameless, which is awesome. And as always, I'm Brendan.
I'm Chris.
And we're broadcasting to you live from my beautiful studio,
which has a lovely view of the quad.
A beautiful quad here on the campus that we work for. We won't reveal which one.
It's in the Northeast.
Shut, you've always said too much. But it's the holidays, it's renewal, it's January 3rd, and we all had our holidays. You were traveling.
Yeah, I went to Texas.
What's in Texas?
My dad and my stepmom and my puppy Star. Well, she's not a puppy. She's like 8, but...
How was that?
It was good. I got to shoot some guns. And
do you shoot guns?
Yeah, I like shooting guns, and I had some bourbon.
What kind?
Garrison Brothers. It's Texas-made bourbon. It's really, really good. It's expensive. It's like $85 a bottle.
Did you buy that as a gift?
No, my dad bought it, and he saved it for the last day of New Year's. He's like, here we go. And I'm like, yes.
So, what do you shoot? Because I never have shot a gun.
Okay,
I'll talk to you. I had an opportunity, but I want to know, like, when did you start? That's always fascinating to me.
Well, I like the first time I went with my family. That was a couple years ago, like maybe a year and a half ago. And then the most recent one was when I went to Texas. Mm-hmm. We were shooting just pistols, no rifles. I've done it a couple times in New York, but mostly it's been shotguns or rifles up here. But like the pistols, I'm preferably like, the more bang for your buck, like shoot a nice 45 or a 380.
All of these things you're saying, I have no idea what you're talking
about. Okay. For the people that don't know out there, I'm talking about the caliber of the ammo.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to be like, yeah, of course, a 30, an 85. I shoot an 85.
That's his handicap.
I know what I'm talking about. So you're a big-time shooter, and was it just something that you grew up with?
No, not really. It was always something that was like you kind of like saw from afar, and it was I think it was done right. Like my dad was very like stressed, like gun safety.
Right.
This isn't a toy. This is something that you're you got to be safe with, and that's the way we always treated it. Like we went to the range. You always point down range. You never point a gun at anybody else, even if it's unloaded, and you just have fun with it. You relax. It's very very relaxing. That's the best part of it. Like you focus on your breathing. You're aiming down the sights, and you don't have to pay attention to the things going around you, especially when you have like the super duper earmuffs around your ears.
Right.
And it's just a lot of fun to do, especially if you're doing it, with family or with friends. If you go by yourself, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if that you can do that well these days. Just go by yourself.
Yeah, no.
But for me, my stepfather's a big hunter. I've never shot a gun in my life.
In video games, you have.
Well, yeah, but in real life, okay, I'm talking reality. Because in video games, I'm uncomfortable with weapons. Like the first-person shooter games, I like them, but it is kind of like I will go for the melee weapon, or I'm playing Hitman Absolution now. I'm always going for the silent kill.
Okay.
Or I'm trying to do the opposite of weaponry if I can. I have no problem like garroting a guy like with the rope.
You're hiding behind the corners with piano wire.
Yeah, piano. That I'm fine with. I have no issue with.
We're having a character reveal right now, everybody.
Yeah, I will push because it gives you the option to kind of like kick dead guys off a cliff. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
And even there's an option to subdue them, where you hit the X button repeatedly, which is very visceral. I know we're kind of jumping around again, but very visceral. Like you like keep hitting the X, and you kind of like the guy struggles, and finally he passes out. And then I will still kick him over the ledge.
Real life practice.
No remorse. And you took a plane, right?
Yeah, I flew down, and then it's in North Texas. We actually got snow on Christmas, so it was nice.
How was your travel?
It was pretty easy. The first way down, I sat next to a guy that was just about as big as I am, so shoulder to shoulder, we were sitting there like, I will promise that I don't rub my elbow on you very much. I'll try.
See, that's the thing. I have been on a plane twice in my lifetime. I am not good with travel.
Oh, you're not a fan?
I already have anxiety to begin with in my life. Like
okay.
Certain things trigger.
Me too. I understand that.
So like long bus rides, like pretty much any scenario where I can't get out of a bus or a vehicle, or can't get out of a room even sometimes. Like movie theaters, I like an aisle seat. Because this is what happens. In my mind, I think if I have to pee, I want to be able to get out and not embarrass myself.
Oh, yeah, that's the get out and go. Like, there ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm leaving, and this is where it's going to go.
That's how it is, too. Then I'm like, my stomach starts to feel queasy. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to throw up on everybody. And they're all going to know it's me. And then I think that's a bit egotistical on my part. Like, nobody knows who I am on a bus. It's not like they're like, that's Brandon O'Brien from that OBT podcast and New Paltz. That asshole. No one's going to be thinking like that. But that's what gets in my head. So I drove down to North Carolina which is about, with stops, 10 hours.
Yeah, it's a long drive.
It's a long drive. And my friends drove it, but then I still can't get over the impending doom. Like a car trip for me, and that weekend exhausts me, like, mentally.
Do you get motion sick?
No, not really. I just get and I feel uncomfortable, and then I'm like, I have to plot out like where bathrooms are along the way because I'm terrified of that's what I think about. I'm like, and that's what happened. Like, I'm gonna crap my pants. I thought that on the way back. Like, I will crap my pants. And I know if I was here in my apartment or in my office, I'd be fine. Like, I wouldn't be worried about it. But in the car, I immediately go to, I'm gonna shit my pants.
There's no bathroom in this car.
I look at like, this ain't no Greyhound. There ain't no bathroom, and that's what I immediately think of, where I'm gonna poop. And then I'm like, my friends are going to tweet about it, and they're going to post pictures of me like, I'm pooping. Why are you making me take pictures when I'm pooping in your car? Like, this is where I think. And then my mind is like, I got to get out of this car. And I literally would be driving, and we'd be driving by an overpass. I'd be like, I could take a dump right there.
Yeah.
Pull over. I'm like, pull over in Jersey. Pull over. And finally, we got to it. But I've always been terrible as a traveler. Terrible.
I hate traveling, but I'm like almost immune to it. Like, I used to fly like 5 to 10 times a year, and now it's just like, okay, first hour and a half is a planned nap. I know beforehand that I'm going to be sleeping and I'm going to be enjoying every second of it. Then when I wake up, pray to God that I brought something with me to entertain myself for that last bit, because that's when it's like, okay, you're awake now, but your ass is not awake. And it's not going to catch up anytime soon, so the ass pain will set in now. And you're like, okay, let's play a video game on my phone. It's not helping.
That's the same way I feel. I'm like, I almost want someone to punch me in the face, knock me out, and then let me come to when we're there, because that's the type of sedation that I want in order to feel good about a travel.
Yeah, just take Valium, you know.
Well, I did. I went to the doctor, and I was like, hey, you know, I'm taking a trip, and I've done this before, and I don't use it at all unless I'm traveling.
Every day.
I use way more than I do when I'm traveling for everyday life, but I use only a little bit. And he's like, do you want 30 tablets? I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not going to use them. I'm like, I'll take 15. Like, I'm negotiating, you know, high-level drugs. And I took one, and my friend, on the way back, my friend goes, are you good to drive? I'm like, probably not. Like, I just took an anxiety medication. Then we started laughing because I'm like, maybe in my history, like, in the history of my lineage, like, throughout history, the O'Briens have always been the ones that they're called upon to do something and they can't because they've self-medicated. So it'd be like the Revolutionary War, like, Washington's going down the Potomac to get the British. Do you want to come, Corporal O'Brien? I'd love to, but I just took a shot of rum and my headspace isn't really in it. I didn't know you were going to ask me. Like, you should have told me. You know, same thing, Civil War. Lincoln needs to free the slaves. I'd love to, but I just did something called heroin that some doctor prescribed me. I'm really out of it.
Yeah, today's not a good day.
Give me an hour. Do you have to go now, Lincoln? Do you have to go do this thing now? So, I mean, we were laughing because I'm like, that's probably where I get my history of my family is. And even my immediate family, we're not travelers. My mother went on a trip for the first time in her life.
Ooh, and
at age
how many years
at age 50.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At age 50. So never liked it. My stepfather loves to travel. And that was the impetus to go, is he wanted to do a trip with my mother. And my mother's a wonderful woman, but the anxiety that she has, same thing that I have. And when the first time you asked her about the trip, like, how was it? It was great, but I'm so happy to be home. The travel was awful.
You're like kissing the ground when you get off the plane, like, mwah,
that's mwah. That's sort of the first aspect of the trip I got was, the bus ride was terrible. People were disgusting, and the plane was almost delayed. Well, how was the trip? It was great, but then we had to get on a shuttle, and that shuttle was terrible. And it's just all these things that are related to the trip. I'm like, how was your trip? Like, why can't we talk about the trip?
Because wasn't there fun memories that were had? I think somebody took a picture or two, but that traveling part.
I just am never that great with that idea of traveling. I'm good. I'm better when I'm there. Once I hit the destination, but it was a New Year's Eve party, so we had a New Year's Eve. My friend rented out a bar space, which was awesome.
That's fun.
It was your own bartender. It was drinks. It was like $60. Got your wristband, and my friend's crazy. He's very detailed. His wedding itinerary I left posted on my fridge because it's 2 pages, single spaced. It was down to like 1:02 p.m. Prep tuxedos. 1:10 get ready to go downstairs.
Some classy shit.
It was classy, but it was like that itinerary almost made me throw up because that triggered my anxiety. I'm like, this is way more complicated than it should be. So I took Xanax that day as well.
Oh, I don't blame you.
I took Xanax, and I was like, I might pass out because it was 90 degrees and we were in full tuxedos with vests. And I sweated through the pants because I was sitting, and I sweat.
That's when your pants, no longer cotton, are now silk because they're
silk.
Like a sheen.
They're sheen, and I just sat there, and it was just I got up from a granite step that we were sitting on. It was just wet, like I had massive swamp ass.
So that's when you had your nice little butt print?
Yes, it was a bit, and it was like one that stayed for a solid 10 minutes.
You have to take a picture of those things because you don't get those all the time. Those are things that you should cherish. People don't appreciate the little things in life like that.
They don't. But my friend was so detailed, and he applied that detail to the New Year's Eve party, which was a lot of fun. But by the time I got to midnight, because we left New Year's Day, I'm already thinking, okay, what time do we have to leave to get back here? I'm already plotting out like MapQuest in my head.
Your watch is like 10 seconds ahead of the ball dropping. Like, all right, come on, everybody, it's time to go.
I'm like, I need to sleep. My friend's like, have a good time. I'm like, I'm having a great time, and I did have a great time. But it's like, and my friend Chris called it when I was leaving. He's like, because I was the next morning. I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. Like, let's get going. He's like, your anxiety. I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, shut up, you don't know me. You know, like, I'm fine. We just need to get on the road by 11. So
there's no bathrooms here.
Yeah. Did you know there's no bathrooms in regular cars?
I'm just going to poop in the middle of the dance floor. I need to get out of here.
I will shit myself in my nice pants, in my suit, because I can't handle this. And we got back, but the whole ride, like, I'm literally thinking, like, if I get sick, just throw me out of the car. Let me roll around in a ditch. I'll find a hotel. I'll get my own way back. That's what's in my head.
I don't blame you. I mean, for me, I didn't even watch the ball drop this year. I feel kind of bad about it. I was in an hour behind, and I didn't want to watch the ball drop at 11 and be like, Happy New Year, 1.
Yeah.
Midnight, Happy New Year, 2. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
But we were watching Resident Evil in my house, the most recent
one. Oh, the most Extinction or whatever. There's so many adjectives to describe that series.
Resident Evil, the one that was actually kind of like a video game.
Yeah,
for once.
Okay.
And it hit like 12:02, and then we all look at each other like, "Oh yeah, Happy New Year!" And then everybody runs outside with the little confetti poppers. Just
I've never had luck on New Year's. There's always something, and it doesn't necessarily have to go wrong, but there's always something that happens. So we'll trace it back. We had this New Year's thinking about how the hell am I going to get out of here? The previous New Year's was pretty good, but I'd made out with this girl.
Uh-oh.
It was fine. Like, ended up being nice.
Welcome to Loveline with Chris and Brendan.
Hey, girls. So I used that voice, and that's what worked. That was okay, but it was like crowded bar, and again, but like it didn't work out. Like with that girl, terrible decision on my part. Didn't work out. And then in high school, and then if I stay home, like I would stay home with my mom a lot for New Year's. Never had a problem, just to stay home. But I remember one year I went. It was high school, and it was close to midnight. And I was a nerdy kid in high school. Can you believe it?
No, I mean, I see you as the cool jock guy that runs the place.
I had the old Letterman jackets and a little.
You need to see the arm motion that he's doing right now.
Letterman jacket. hi-yo. And then I was like, I don't know. My mom encouraged me to go. She's like, why don't you go with your friends? It's your junior year. You should be going out, not staying with your mom. I'm like, all right. So I drive over. Everybody's drunk. It was just it was a classic high school party. Woo. Yeah. So we're all doing our thing. And then somebody drunkenly opens a door and you hear, Gilderland police.
Oh.
And then my friend, I think it was this guy named AJ, he's like, the cops are here. By that point, they go, everybody in the basement. Everybody get out of the basement. So we all trudge down to the basement where there's this, no joke, like tiny 10-inch screen television in the far corner. And one dude kind of sitting drunk, huddled over it. So we're all milling around and all of a sudden you're, Happy New Year. So
that's almost better than the ball dropping.
Happy New Year.
And that's when you turn to the girl next to you like, well, I guess we got to make out now because the drunk guy said it's the New Year.
Oh, this story gets worse. Gets worse. So you hear Happy New Year. And I'm like, great. This is a great time. So then the Gilderland police, they're convening upstairs like NFL refs.
Meeting of the minds?
Yeah, they're figuring it out.
Oh, God.
Then they go, everybody that's sober, get back upstairs. So we go. I'm looking around. I'm like, shit, that's me. Like, of course, I'm sober, and all the sober kids had found each other at that point. So we're all like, we should probably go upstairs.
Is there a window we can crawl through?
I was like, how do I get out of this? Because then
there's no bathrooms down here in the basement.
Then as a kid, I'm terrified because I'm like, what if my mom finds out? Like, I'm stupid. Like, I'm totally. I never did anything bad when I was a kid. So I was like, they're gonna arrest me. I was like, why? And then I'm like, but there's no reason, but they might anyway. I'm like, I saw enough, cops that, you can get arrested for anything. So we come up and they go, you're all sober, right? And I'm like, well, you can test us, but I get, sure, let's go on honesty.
You got an IV of beer going into your arm? Yes,
yeah,
officer.
I'm fine. So then he goes, you're going to have to drive a majority of these kids back to their homes. And I go, excuse me? And then he looked at me like he was going to beat the crap out of me with a baton. He goes, we're going to ask some of these kids to come on up and you're going to take them home. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to suck so bad. So,
and that's when you got to fuck with cops because you got to be like, are we allowed to sit on laps? Does this require seatbelts?
I didn't want to do that because, again, at that point, because I was terrified, man.
Can I throw someone in the trunk?
See, what if I gave them roofies and passed them out? What if we stacked them in the back? It was a terrifying notion. And I picked up my friend Matt and these two other kids, and Matt was drunk. And when you're drunk, you think you got everything planned out, and he goes, "This is what we're gonna do: go to Dunkin' Donuts." So we go to Dunkin' Donuts. You can just burp if you got to burp right in the mic.
Oh, I'm. Okay.
You're being really professional.
I'm trying to be professional.
That's okay. If you got to burp, you got to burp. It's life. So we get in the car and we're driving to Dunkin' Donuts and we sit down at the table. And I'm exhausted at this point. I'm nervous the cops followed us. I'm thinking like they have SWAT teams out. I'm, again, naive high school kid that they actually care about a high school party. So we're there and he starts busting on these girls. And he's like, you make out with each other now. Make out with each other now. I'm like, okay. And we're the only four dudes there. And it's these people just getting coffee, donuts because they're drunk. And I'm like, I'm like, we're going to get in a fight. And that's the worst thing that could happen to an uncoordinated high school kid like myself.
These girls are going to kick our ass.
That's what I thought. Like, we're going to get our ass beat by these girls. So time passes, and then it's maybe 20 minutes later, Matt goes, this is what we're going to do. Drive me back to the party. I said, Matt, I'm pretty sure the party is over. I don't think it is. Pete's there. I don't know who Pete is. Who the hell is Pete? So we all get into the car and we drive back, and the house is, every light is off.
Meanwhile, poor Pete's just sitting alone.
Poor Pete's sitting alone in the basement. Have a New Year, West Coast. Like, he's just ringing it out. So I don't know what happened afterward. I said my goodbye. I said, are you sure? And the three of them got out and they wandered toward this dark, empty house. Don't know. Have no idea what happened.
Haven't seen them since.
They're dead.
Oh, crap.
So I've never had luck with New Year's. I've always had this cloud of doom around my New Year's.
I have the depression cloud that usually falls over New Year's because I'm like subconsciously able to make sure that I'm single or miserable in a relationship on New Year's and Valentine's Day every year. It's like my brain has this built-in clock that like it hits like December 20th and it's like, yep, nope, not gonna happen. Single on New Year's.
Single on New Year's. Well, I was at this bar and there's a very attractive lady to my right. And she was nice. It was like, and then I literally talked to her maybe 20 minutes, and then the ball dropped. We each had champagne. She goes, "Hey, Happy New Year!" Quick kiss on the lips, like it was very innocent, nothing crazy.
And now you have herpes.
Yeah. And I've been to I'm in a bubble right now. You can't see. I'm in a bubble because my immune system's shot.
But the acoustics in that plastic are pretty nice.
Are beautiful. So we. But I've had those moments too, and my friend, I feel bad for him. He was working on this girl for like 48 hours, literally. The whole thing was set up for him when we got down there. This other girlfriend of ours says, I think she's really great for you.
So wait. There was pre-planning?
Yes, there's pre-planning on this.
No.
There's pre-planning on this. So it gets better. It gets better. There's pre-planning on this, and I asked him the next day, like, I'm like, not even thinking that there would be an issue. Like, you gave her a kiss, right? Yeah, they gave her a kiss. And this is verbatim how he described what happened. He goes, "Well, I snuck around behind her and kissed her on the cheek." And I said, "We need to back up and diagram this sentence because the first part is terrifying. You snuck up behind her?"
Fail.
And I said, "What was we're at a party, like, where you're like, I'm going to pretend like I'm a stalker and a murderer. Like, what was your thought process?"
That's in Creepy Guy 101.
Super creepy guy. And again, he had 48 hours to hang with. He like hung out with her, stayed in the same house with her. 48 hours. Try to mac it. And we get to that the pinnacle, which is, the midnight kiss.
Did his testicles just not descend? Is that I'm just confused.
He's a
That's
great
a lot
guy.
of time to be putting in planning.
He's a great guy. And I just don't think that it was it was a bad investment. That's what you got to watch it out. Yeah. You've had those as a single man. You have bad investments.
No. I go with the I don't put in any effort and expect 100% returns. And usually that works. It's just in the long run that doesn't work very well.
You're like a hedge fund manager in some ways. You put a lot of short term and then you expect that you get a big payoff, but then long term you're Bernie Madoff it.
Yeah, I show up to the bar. I go, I'm going to have a drink with my friends. 3 hours later, now I have made out with, danced, and I'm going to hang out tomorrow with some girl that had no intention to hang out with. Now, in this in-between period in time, Chris stood still. Chris didn't talk to anybody except his friends. And Chris enjoyed himself. Now, and then everything just gets, propelled on forward. Right. And then the end of the night hits. And then I wake up the next day and I go, huh? I didn't try, but I have 4 numbers. How do I do that? See, I like that way. That way's a lot more fun. The hunt, to me, that's too scary.
You don't need to be scared by it. I learned. I'm 29. How old are you?
27.
Okay, so we're not that far apart.
Yeah.
But I learned the idea, and that was the other funny thing. A friend of mine, Maureen, was coming up to me throughout the night, going, "Who are you targeting?" I'm like, "Why are you using those words, like that language? Like, who are you targeting? Like, who's your number one prospect?" I'm like,
which pheromones are wafting in your general direction?
This isn't a draft where I'm like, I got the number one pick and I don't know what to do with it. I just was there to have a good time, and I found that if I take that approach of just enjoying myself, it works out better. But the hunt is, I'm sort of that same way. Like, I kind of let things happen if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, because it's fun to talk to girls, and it's fun to get the interaction going back and forth. It's a lot more fun when you can say that you didn't try at all whatsoever.
Right.
Because then you're just like, oh, I was just living life, and ta-da! Instead of like, life. I saw this girl and she was so pretty, and I was like, oh man, I want to talk to her. But then I was like, no, man, no, don't do it. But then I was like, yeah, man, because I'm dumb, so I'm going to go do it. And then you walk up to her, and then you realize that the girl that you were staring at has now gone to the bathroom, peed, left the bar. She's at another bar right now. Another girl is standing in your place, and when you see her for the first time, you have that overwhelming fear of, I'm saying hi, but I can't stop it from coming out of my mouth, and she's looking at me. See, that's the life situation I don't want to live with.
You just have to have fun.
Yeah, you got to enjoy yourself.
You got to have a good time. and then see where it goes. But then again, with my friend, I just felt terrible because again, this was an investment that he made. And you think you're going to get at least a kiss on the lips, not sex. You don't need to have any of that stuff. But just you think you're going to get something. He got like a kiss on the. He gave her a kiss and she got nothing back. Nothing back on his investment.
Well, I mean, are you surprised? Because she probably was just like, oh, my butthole. Oh, it's my friend. Hey. It's my friend.
Well, I think part of it was, like, again, the approach of, I lurked from behind, and then I planted a kiss.
Now, see, if you positioned yourself where you stood behind her and tapped her on the shoulder to where she could turn around and be like, oh, hey, and be like, it's New Year's. That's kind of something where she has the, when you go in and just peck on that cheek
and
there.
You go from around, like, you have to do the craned neck, like, no.
Is your friend a giraffe? I just want to make sure.
Yes, he is. He has a giant neck.
He was just, like, positioning himself. He's like, and we have the upper cheekbone and land.
But it's funny, because there's no real great way to even approach that, even when it's just a non-New Year's event, because it's funny watching old movies. I like watching old movies.
Oh, me too.
And they're always, the man is always like, come here, baby. And he just kind of grabs her. Like, that doesn't work anymore. You can't do that.
Yeah, no. No.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laws against that.
There's a lot of laws now based off those movies.
People get kicked in the nuts, sometimes arrested for that.
And it is terrifying because, again, it's like, come here, what's your problem? And that's, like, endearing back in the 50s. And she goes, oh, you're so right. And they just, like, make love and have babies. And it's like, wow, that worked back then?
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
That's terrifying in some ways.
A lot of those people hated each other, but they were married for, like, 80 years.
Well, that's Catholic guilt. That's Catholic guilt.
Oh, okay.
And do you celebrate Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so are you a one and done guy where you go for Jesus' birthday, then don't show up for the rest?
Oh, you mean to church?
Church, yeah.
Oh, no. I don't celebrate the religious holiday. I celebrate the commercial holiday, which is known as Christmas. It's really, really close.
It's close.
It's got a big fat man with a white beard instead of a little baby.
I go for the baby.
Oh, okay, you're a baby.
And it does kind of bum me out because the church is falling apart. In my opinion, not a lot's going on, and it is funny. You get people that obviously don't ever go. Because I was sitting in my pew. For those who've never been, that's where you sit, a pew. Oh, that's God! I burped during the Christmas story. Sorry,
the story of
the one time. The one time I could have burped during New Year's. I could have burped during me having to poop a lot.
Brendan's gonna walk away and say a bunch of Hail Marys.
Yeah, I got to go to the confession. So. There's kids in front of us that are terribly behaved, and there's a family behind us with the girls going, and I'm hearing the sermon, and this girl going, I don't even know why we're here.
Oh,
and her mom's like, you will be quiet, and you will enjoy Christmas.
Jesus will smite you.
And then she's like, you have an attitude problem. She goes, we will not have this conversation and judge. And I'm like, this is why nobody goes to church anymore because. I don't think people want to, and then you feel an obligation. But it is kind of shitty. Think about it this way. If you had a best friend, you go to his birthday, you enjoy the celebration, you have a good time, you get Christmas gifts, and then you don't see him again until he dies. Which is what most Catholics do.
That's really sad.
You have the birthday of Jesus, and then you have in April when he dies.
Half a year later, sorry, bud.
It's like a friend that you don't call.
You don't even have enough time to mourn.
You show up to the mass where he dies, and then you go, oh wait, what was that he did? Oh, he did that? When was that? And they're like, it was 3 months ago, you ass. How come you didn't show up to hear the stories when he was a carpenter making houses? And he had all these friends, and the one friend betrayed him. What?
Baby Jesus popped out of the womb with a hammer and nails. Everyone, just in case anyone knows, he is a carpenter.
And it is a cool story. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
And I there's the birth, there's the death, the resurrection, and then it's like Ghost Jesus time for another 4 to 5 months, and then it's a never-ending story. New Testament, Old Testament, pick your flavor, whatever you like. And but it is weird in my mind. Like, that's what a lot of family. I was thinking about this Christmas a lot. A lot of people go just for the birthday, and they go for the death. It's weird to me that nobody is in between, and there are people
morbid.
in between. It's a very morbid kind of thing where the obligation is you have to go, and it's just sacred, and it is sacred. I'm Catholic. I'm probably, I'm never was confirmed, or as my aunt called it, confirmed to be a soldier for Christ.
Oh, okay.
Which, as she said, tongue in cheek. And it's just very odd because I don't go to church all the time. My mom used to sing in the choir, and I would go just to hear my mom and even that is even somewhat of a lie. I didn't really go at all for that. I would go on occasion to hang out with her
because you're gonna feel guilty about it.
I would feel guilty. And she'd be like, I might not sing for a while. She goes, and then one time she actually said, "You're gonna regret this when I'm dead."
That's terrible.
And I said, you were right.
That's when the anchor around your heart just goes, wow.
And I was terrified. So it is just this morbid cycle, and I think it's just so, and it's annoying because I do when I go, and it is in like summer. The churches need to upgrade.
Well, see, you're talking
it's so damn hot.
You're talking Catholic now.
I'm talking Catholic. Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about it's pretty sullen all the time as a Catholic.
It is.
When I was raised Southern Baptist. There's not a lot of sad times when you're Southern Baptist. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear of hell.
Yeah, well,
constant fear of hell. And then you've got the let's sing every day. We're just going to sing and be happy, but not singing like church hymns, singing like gospel music.
But that's cool. Like that's fun. Like
where black people and white people are swaying together,
and that's beautiful.
And people are smiling, and death, birth, and in between, everything's happy.
Everything's fun
until you get to the hell part, and then that's oof.
But there used to be a priest I would go to. My grandmother, back in the 90s, went to old school Latin Mass in Albany, St. Mary's Church. There's a father named Father Roach.
Okay.
Father Roach was awesome. It was a Latin Mass, and that was when I was younger. I enjoyed that because they had a little booklet. It was a blue book. On the one side was English, on the other side was Latin. So I could follow the Latin, and I tried to learn Latin along the way. And there's a lot of fun things about that church. There's a guy, John, who sang that. I swear to God, every time he sang the Ave Maria, he thought he was going to die because it was this old church, so no air conditioning. He was an older fat guy. And he go, and he would hold the note for so long, and
everyone's staring at the bead of sweat that's going down his forehead.
and then he would just be sweating, and he would break a little, like he's gonna pass out. So I had that to look at.
And sidebar: Brendan's new album is going to be dropping later this week, so if you want to pick it up,
it's just 10 seconds of Ave Maria.
It's worth the $37 that you have to pay in copyright fees. It's awesome.
So that you have that, and then the priest was old school priest, old school father, Franciscan monk actually, and he had these crazy sermons that were hilarious because he would say things, and he would go up on the pulpit, and he'd go, Christmas, Santa Claus, reindeer. You know whose day it is? It's Jesus' day. It's Jesus' birthday. And all you think about it, reindeer, presents, and Santa Claus. Nothing to do with that. And on Mother's Day, he'd be like, you know who your only mother is? Mother Mary. That's your mother.
And you're looking at Mom like, Ma?
I'm like, am I supposed to like clap? And he would have like quizzes. I'm like, who remembers what Jesus said to so-and-so? And then there'd be a pause. They're like, come on, tell me. Come on. And someone would have to answer, else you keep yelling it out. Sometimes the deacon would be like, that was Judas. And then the best was when the deacon would actually do the homily. Father Roach would have a 10-minute time limit in his mind. And I always knew it was hitting 10 minutes because he'd pull his giant sleeve.
His holy watch.
His holy sleeve and whip out his watch and start looking at it. And then he would audibly go... because his microphone would still be on, and you hear these heavy sighing, and then the deacon would go, okay, and then he'd start wrapping it up. So that's the type of church that I grew up with. But you had a whole, that sounds like fun times.
Yeah, for Christmas, you had like your normal, like you had your sermon, and it was kind of relaxed. It was one of the more relaxed days, and then there was lots of singing, and things were happy. We had what is known as the singing Christmas tree, where they
What?
built a giant wooden Christmas tree for kids to stand on. I was one of the members of the Singing Christmas
What did
tree.
you have to do?
Sang Christmas songs, but all like religious ones.
Were you dressed up like a tree?
No, I think if I remember correctly, we were just like dressed up. Like you were supposed to look nice, and the tree was all decorated. And then at the nighttime portion, our pastor would have a sketched out piece of paper, and he would like chalk draw or pastels, and he would color it in, and it would be like this really, really nice scene. Like it was either a nativity scene or it was music in the background. So you just sat there and you watched him, with the religious music playing in the background, and him just hitting his pastels on the paper, and then it was done, and then it was over, and then everyone gave each other hugs, and then everyone left. And that was my experience of it from like 7 to 12. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. This is different. And then it just stopped. And then it was...
Why did it stop?
I think because commercialism won out.
Oh, in your household or just...
In my heart. I fully accept that I'm going to hell.
That is the saddest thing.
Now,
You're like, Jesus or an Xbox? Xbox is more fun.
See, at a young age, I was unfortunately well informed, and I learned things as time goes on. Like that's one of the things with religion's a whole bag in itself to talk about.
Yeah.
But like once the dissemination of information starts, religion's collapsed every little bit in time. That's why now it's so bad for to say like, oh, I'm a Christian. Whoops, wrong thing to say. Right. I am a God supporter. That's different. That's when they're like, oh, okay, you could be anything. So I learned early on that, well, Christmas isn't actually Jesus' birthday. It was on a different day. But
I know, isn't that a kick in the pants?
They were like, we're just going to keep doing it anyways. And I was a very, very cynical child. I went, no.
Yeah.
Nope. You can't just tell me one thing for years and then tell me it's something different and then tell me I have to keep doing it. I was a very stubborn child. So I was like, but I do like that Santa Claus man. That Santa Claus man, he gives me gifts.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it designed by Coca-Cola?
I'm pretty sure the overall
look, the overall look, like the idea was out there, but the look of the Americanized, the common version we see,
with the rosy red cheeks and the suit. I mean, like they had the German version and that there was a lot of the European old school stuff. Right. It was kind of there, but it wasn't fully solidified until Coca-Cola was like, "We got this, we got Santa." It's completely commercial.
I think that's the part that makes me bummed out about the holiday. I get bummed out later in holidays because I'm a man of I like consistency. I like routines.
Fair enough. Bathrooms and located in places where you can find them.
Harkening back. I like routine. I like to poop when I want to poop. I don't want to be in a car and have that misjudged. So I enjoy and I get criticized. Ex-girlfriends have criticized me about this before. Is they're like,
wait a second, hold on. Ex-girlfriends have criticized you?
I know, right?
I'm shocked.
Terrifying, right?
Women criticizing you.
What's wrong with them dames?
I think you're perfect.
Thank you.
See,
if only you had a vagina, and then
I don't want one. It's too scary.
I will pay for it.
Sweet, sorry, pay for it.
So I like change. Like I will do change, but I will do change at my pace, which is, let's say if I get a new job, like I want the new job, and then I want to set myself up a new apartment. I want it all done. Yeah. I don't like the uncertainty of when it comes to like heavy duty decision making. But I'm fine if you're like, we're gonna go see this movie, and let's decide to do this one instead. Like I don't freak out about that, but it's bigger changes. Like I've had exes there like, I just kind of want to see how it goes, and I'm just gonna go traveling, and I'm like, that sounds terrifying to me if you have no idea what your next step is.
See, you're my polar opposite.
Yeah.
I'm the little tiny things freak out about. The big things, I'm like, well, I'm living here, and I have to leave. I guess tomorrow I will live there. And I my parents got divorced when I was young, so I got used to like big life changes happening and being like, okay, you just have to adapt. That's it. Go.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I've had like 14, 15 years to practice it.
Right.
So I'm used to it. But like like the little tiny things when someone's like, yo, we're gonna go to the bar at 8. We'll see you there. In my mind, I'm like, I'm going to be there at 8. And when I show up at 8, my friends are there and they are not there, and they text me going, hey, we're going to be there at 8:30. That's when I go, You're the worst friends ever. Fuck y'all. I don't even know why I decided to come out with you today.
Yeah.
Like, how could you do this to me? And then, you know, that's where my anxiety was just like, and then I like 20 minutes later, I go, why did that all just happen?
No, I'm the other way. That's funny. I'm the total opposite. I'm like, you know, we're gonna go on a vacation, and then we get on a plane ride, and then the plane is delayed. I go, the fucking plane's delayed? What does that mean? What plane are they gonna put us on? Has that plane been investigated and checked? This plane looks shaky. Like
this plane doesn't have an engine.
I have no aeronautical experience. I'm like, that looks like a suspect. That's a ratchet plane.
It's a ratchet plane.
That's a clinical term that I'm using. A ratchet plane.
Yeah, no. See, mine is they're like, okay, well, like most recently when I was flying back from Texas, they go, well, they're gonna have to investigate a leak in the engine to see if it's actually there.
I would full on panic.
That's when they turned on the little entertainment box with the NBC shows, and I was like, well, my headphones are going on right now until they tell me that the engine's gonna be fine.
No, I would want constant updates.
We hit the air, and I'm expecting my peanuts, and they say, well, we're not gonna have peanuts on this flight. That's when I lose my cool. And that's when Chris goes, go find some.
What did you have did they have substitutes for you?
Oh no, I had some pre-planning. I brought Cheez-Its because I knew I was going to like those more than anything else that they could give me.
I love Cheez-Its.
So that combated that feeling, but I still kind of wanted it. There was still that part of me that was just like that knew, and then when they said no, I went tough. You go back and find some. If not, we're gonna land.
That would set me off. I'd be like, I can't handle this. Like, give me an update. I would be
I was like, all right, well, we don't need that engine. We got another one.
I would be like, I would like the incident report. Could you please give me the incident report? I would want to investigate it. I would want to know. I'd be tweeting about it on the plane. Like, I'm gonna fucking die on this plane.
I was sitting there. I was playing Temple Run. I was like, I wonder if the engine does go out while we're flying. Huh?
Oh, I'd be terrified.
My seat works as a flotation device. Cool.
Well,
jump over this.
First, I would have passed out. Probably would have passed out from the sheer fear, and then I would have taken double Valium to get myself through
I think
it.
we should travel together. I think this would be fun.
Oh, God. If we would need people to film this or document it.
And Brendan's going to be like half dead in the chair as they announce that we're going to be having the rest of the flight as turbulence. He's out.
I would be like, you need to punch me in the face.
And that's when I'm sitting there going like, all right, whatever, you know, and we will not be serving any extra drinks. And that's when I flip out. I'm just going like, what? You're going to mean I'm going to get all shaken up and I'm not going to get a beer? I can't live in this world.
I need Pepsi. Throw it us. He'd be like William Shatner.
In the button.
On the plane.
Bing. They turn it off for you. Yeah. No. Bing.
Stewardess, there's someone on the plane.
You aren't having the right answer, so you can leave. I'm going to keep hitting this until the next one comes with the right answer.
You should have called me out on that terrible Shatner impression that I just did.
Oh, no, it's okay.
It was terrible.
I can't do a good Shatner impression, so if you did any of them, I'd be like,
try it.
You tried.
Try Shatner right now.
We've got to have more beer on this flight. I started to draw into Christopher Walken at the end.
Hi. What is with the fight? I can't do it. It becomes like Harry Carey. Hi.
That's okay. See, Harry Carey is okay though. That's fine because you can blend into that and be like, that's what I totally meant to do.
What does he do?
I was doing a setup for it.
I get that's the only Schwarzenegger I can barely get out. That and any of his cliche lines from Batman and Robin. Ice. Stay cool.
See, I like the Total Recall Arnold. I like.
Go ahead again. Give us a. Stay cool, Batman. Ice to meet you.
Oh God. Oh! I just got a pain in my heart because I remembered watching that movie.
Hey, so that was part 1. Part 2 is coming up in the future because I don't know how to operate GarageBand, and it cut me off. So, hope you enjoyed number 1. See you on number 2.